Sometimes our opponent gets so close to us that we can't even get the overhook. We always need a little bit of space to work with. In this circumstance, everything's been killed off to us. When Stephan's first beating me, collar tie. When he starts to get even closer, beating the collar tie, this space here, overhook. But if Stephan gets in super close and hugs my hip and his shoulder has made a connection to me, I no longer have space to be able to even insert an overhook. And so this was a crazy technique when my instructor Rob first showed it to me, because it seems like it's not going to work very well, but it all has to come down to alignment. What I'm looking at doing is reaching over and grabbing Stephan's lat. In the gi, we could grab onto the clothing or down by like the lapel. I'm looking at closing my elbow, rolling my shoulder and my chest forward. Everything is the exact same, being up in the best position I can. If I'm up on my elbow, try and build up onto your hand here. You should be able to, because at this point, usually your opponent is lowering their center of gravity and they're really tight to the hips here and they're taking their time. We're going to box them in this place. So even though that they've won this range battle temporarily, I'm going to make them regret this. What I'm looking at doing is taking my chest and leaning over him as much as I can, crushing his chin into his shoulder. This leg is coming up, matching his shoulder on this side so that I'm able to compress him in here. Another way that you can do this, depending on the length of your arms, the way that I like to, is reaching under my own leg here, closing my elbow and tightening this up. If Stephan tried to talk from here,
it's very tough.
It's very uncomfortable. He's going to have a hard time working. If I do this...
This doesn't feel like anything.
No, I haven't done anything. It's just cosmetically a very similar position, but the alignment is not very strong for me, for my goals, and his alignment is strong. My goal here is to break his posture with my chest.
As soon as you do that,
curling forward, leaning. Here I like to grab because this allows me an anchor point on the other side to be able to start squeezing. This is going to give me some better options for when we're looking at rolling backwards. And so what we're trying to do is control our opponent here so much so that they're going to have to start letting go because they just feel like they can't move and we're escaping from here. It becomes like a stalling, standstill battle here for a bit where Stephan wants to pull his head out, but if he's holding on to me, he can't pull his head out. Why would he want to? He's here. But if I can trap him up here with this box tie and hold him in place and break this becomes miserable for him. He's going to try and wiggle out. As Stephan's trying to wiggle out, I'm holding on to him. I'm going to hold on to him. As he's trying to, I'm escaping during that moment of opportunity.
It almost feels like a head and arm choke. Like there's a similar... You're not going to choke me there.
No.
But it's got a similar pressure, like it's beginning to set up.
My ribs are starting to try and like block off the side of your neck here. I'm probably not going to actually occlude the arteries down here, but especially on this side, because of how I'm bringing my knee up like this to trap this, I'm starting to scrape it along your shoulder, which is internally rotating your shoulder, bringing it into your neck in the way that it would with an arm triangle or a leg triangle. If I do this, just leaning forward, I can break his posture still, but I'm not creating it, I'm not making an environment here that is super uncomfortable for him. And he's going to still be able to have some space to wiggle around and move. The goal here is to bring your knee up as high as you can. The shorter you are, just bring your knee up a bit higher. Because if we're able to bring our foot right up to here and have it stack our knee above our ankle, that's going to be really strong structure and very strong base. So here, gripping the gi this time, closing the elbow, bring myself here, leaning the chest over. I'm really leaning forward. And Stephan's going to want to try and get out of this. And as he starts moving, we start switching back to a collar tie, a reverse collar tie, falling back and framing our opponent. We're getting all these different ranges back that we had just previously lost. This might be a tough one to watch in the video and understand just how miserable it is to be stuck in there. But really work on trying to bring your chest over and breaking their posture. And do think about, while it's not going to be a submission, if it helps you contextualize it, think about trying to constrict your opponent in there and choke them, or even try and pop their head off in between your thigh, your ribs, and your elbow closing down on them. And then in the next two videos, we're going to talk about some other options you can use to create some more opportunities to be able to retain your guard.